Living for God in a Secular Society, taken from Daniel chapter 3. The story of the three boys in fire, Daniel in the lion's den, and David and Goliath, rank as one of the best known and most exciting Bible stories of all time. It is a practical chapter of Christians trying to live in a secular society. Daniel and his three friends had been in Babylon about 20 years when Nebuchadnezzar built a golden image. Now the image was of pure gold, 60 cubits high and 60 cubits wide. It was a pure golden statue. He placed it in the place where all the city would see in Dura in verse 1. The motivation of the image was to showcase his power and might. It is an image to show greatness of his 43 years of rule in Babylon. The man making the image was known as the greatest king of the Chaldean dynasty of Babylon. In his time, he had conquered Syria, Palestine, Jerusalem, and made Babylon a splendid city. In verse 2-5, the king made a grand dedication ceremony, invited all the guests in Babylon to come and see the great image of gold. Wow! Anybody that came that day must have seen another wonder of the ancient world. It seems the king spent a huge amount of the nation's budget to set up an image which he valued a lot. Despising the image he valued surely would tantamount to death. Putting down the king's months and months of investing in the image would mean contempt of his power, belittling his gods, and falling in his fury. In verses 5-7, instructions were given for every man and woman to bow down to the image at the sound of the music instruments. Failure to worship would equal to death sentence in fires. You either bow or burn. You either bend or break. The 40 years military leader with a tough face, a hoarse voice, had made a command that all people should go down at the sound of music. The greatest test of your faith is when you're able to stand up for Christ in the face of death. Very few people stand up for Christ at a gunpoint and still say He is Lord. Very few people can resign from a job if it is threatening their Christian faith. They would rather sleep with a boss and bow a knee to that paycheck. Not these three boys. Listen to how the founding fathers of our faith ended their races in life, but they would not bow a knee. Simon Peter was crucified upside down because he would not bow a knee to denounce his Savior. He requested to be crucified upside down, as he felt unworthy to die in the same manner as his Christ. In Western Greece, Andrew, Peter's brother, was debating with the proconsul, whom he couldn't win, and he ordered him to be beaten, hung by tying on a tree for 2 days, and later died. John is the only disciple who died a natural death. He was sentenced to the island of Patmos. He lived until he died. James was killed by Herod in Acts 2 by a sword. Bartholomew was skinned alive and beheaded. Philip died in Ethiopia, where he was hung to death. Thomas died in India during the missionary journey. He was speared to death. Matthew, the tax collector, died in Ethiopia under the spear. He was later beheaded. James, the son of Alphaeus, was killed and his body sawn into 2 parts. Simon the Zealot died peacefully at present-day Turkey. Judas committed suicide. Matthias, the replaced Judas, was burnt to death in Syria. Jude died in Syria with an axe. And this is how the founding fathers of our faith finished their races without bowing a knee. To deny our Savior and a few years later die in your bed is a sign of cowardice. Such great men are pioneers of our faith, and we are following them. They would not bow a knee to anything secular. A rumor reaches the palace that 3 Hebrew boys had refused to bow at the golden image, yet they were governors. The Bible is silent about Daniel in this state. Speculations say that since Daniel was in charge of the entire province of Babylon, he might have been away on official duties of the king when his friends faced this test. They must have swallowed a pin and said, "We will not bow a knee, come what come may."